y'all, and welcome back to Kitchen Notes from Nancy. If you're new here, I'd like to welcome you to our neighborhood, and I hope you decide to subscribe before you leave. And if you are a returning guest, I'd like to greet you with the customary, hey neighbor. So, in today's recipe, I was in the mood for a little something different. So, we are staying down south, but we are going a little further south down to the Caribbean, and today I'm going to show you my recipe for Caribbean jerk chicken. But before we get into that, y'all, you all have been so amazing with helping my channel grow. We've literally gone from 1,000 to almost 5,000 in just a few months. So I think from November to now. So what I am asking you for today is, if you have time, make sure you share this video. Tell your friends about Kitchen Notes from Nancy, how much you're learning here, so that we can get to 5,000 subscribers. That's our next big goal. So if you could do that for me, I'll be so grateful for you all. Y'all have been absolutely fabulous on this entire YouTube journey. So before we get started, also, do me a favor and give me a big like here. And if you want to, give me a comment down below. Do you like jerk chicken? Is it too spicy? Is it not spicy enough? What do you like to pair with yours? I think tonight we're just having regular rice, not rice and peas or anything like that. We're just gonna do regular rice tonight. But without any more talking, let's hop right into the recipe. Thanks, guys. So for our recipe, we are going to keep it as close to original as I possibly can, being here in Alabama. So for our jerk chicken, I'm going to be using some homemade green seasoning. Now, I have been told and admonished by all of my Caribbean friends that you can't do true Caribbean food without green seasoning, and I followed a pretty traditional recipe for that. If you're interested in how I make my green seasoning, I can either leave you some videos below, or either I can make one for you. We are going to be using the Walkerswood traditional Jamaican jerk seasoning. I have both the mild and the hot and spicy. I think today I'm actually going to use the mild one. I may throw a little bit of the hot and spicy in, I'll let you know. I have my Grace browning seasoning. And Grace also makes a jerk seasoning that I've heard from some of my friends that's really, really good. So, you know, you can check out either Walker's World or Grace. It's up to you. In addition to that, we're going to be using some garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, and a little bit of pink salt. Now, while I put my gloves on, I'm going to go ahead and tell you about my chicken. My chicken has actually been in the refrigerator. I sat it out about 20 minutes ago. I cleaned it and washed it last night. I prepped it and put it in a bowl so I would not have to go through all of that. And I cleaned my chicken with a little bit of vinegar and a little bit of lemon juice in some cold water, and then I cut all of the fat off of it. So let's move you down here so you can get a good view of the actual pan. So I'm using a combination of legs and thighs, and like I said, this chicken has already been cleaned and it's been in the refrigerator overnight. Now, what I did to my chicken is I cut little slits in it, and you'll see that when I start to mix up these seasonings, I'm actually going to use the slits that's in the chicken as little pockets to put some of the seasoning. So, and the weird thing about this chicken, y'all, it was like the thighs were little, and then the drumsticks were some of the biggest pieces of chicken I have seen in a while. So that was a little bit weird to me. I don't know why don't know why these drumsticks were so big. All right. And then we're gonna go one more piece, probably 2 more thighs, because the thighs are just so little. Like, they were like little baby thighs. So now, while I get ready to put my seasonings, I'm going to take these gloves off. And then when I get ready to mix it up, I'll put another pack of, another set of gloves on. All right, so for our seasoning, I'm gonna go in with some of my freshly made green seasoning. Stir it up really, really good. And y'all, this stuff smells so good. I made up enough for 2 of these mason jars, and you'll start seeing this stuff a lot because I'm gonna use it in some more of my cooking. So I'm gonna use about 2 tablespoons. I got a good amount of chicken here, so I'm gonna use 2 tablespoons. All right. Now we are going to use the mild Walkerswood seasonings. So we're gonna use the mild one. And this stuff is strong, like super strong. So I'm gonna do 1 big heaping teaspoon and then just a little bit more. All right, so now I'm gonna shake up my browning seasoning. And I'm gonna go in with just about maybe a capful. I'm not gonna use a lot of this stuff at all because it's super strong. So maybe about a half a cap is all that I'm using of that browning seasoning. Now I'm gonna use some garlic powder. There is fresh garlic in my green seasoning. But I'm adding garlic powder. I'm gonna go in with onion powder, and there is some scallions, spring onions, as most of the people from the Caribbean like to call them. And then I'm gonna go in with some black pepper, and in my green seasoning there are some bell pepper, and there is green bell pepper, and then I also put in a few red and yellow sweet peppers because I'm going to be using it as a kind of an all-purpose seasoning. And I used 1 jalapeno in my seasoning, but I took the seeds out of the jalapeno. So now this is where we are for our chicken. Let me grab another set of gloves. Really, I'm just going to grab 1 glove and use 1 hand to mix. So I'm just gonna take and start to move this around, massage it all in, and then I'm gonna start focusing on those holes that I stuck in there, making sure that I get seasoning all over the pieces and into the holes. And you can do this in a bowl if you want. I just decided to do it in the pan that I was going to cook it in, just to make it a little bit easier on myself. All right, let me get that seasoning that has kind of fallen down off in the bottom, get it tucked off into my pieces. And this smells really good. And so we're actually not doing this on the grill. If you look at the description, we are going to be doing our jerk chicken in the oven. So this is going to be oven jerk chicken. So, whoops, I was out of the frame. I'm sorry. So I'll just go back and show you what I was doing when I was out of the frame a little bit. So I was just taking any bits of seasoning that was on the bottom, and in those little pockets that I cut, I was making sure that I tucked a little of this seasoning down off in there because I want it to go straight to the bone. All right, so now that this chicken is all marinated, I'm actually going to cover it with plastic wrap and let it sit in the refrigerator. Overnight is best. We are actually having this for dinner today, so I'm going to let mine sit in the refrigerator for about 3 hours. I do have a few minutes to do that, so I'm gonna let mine marinate for about 3 hours. So I'm gonna cover it up with some plastic wrap. Well, I actually have the Glad press and seal, so I'm going to use that on here. Maybe you need to go the other way. All right, so I'm going to cover it with the press and seal. I love this stuff and hate this stuff at the same time. I have a trick for that. This is a real kitchen, so you see my struggles. Just gonna use a pair of shears to get this closed so that it can marinate in the refrigerator. All right, and I'll see y'all back in 3 hours. Okay, y'all, so my chicken has been in the refrigerator for about 2.5 hours or so. And so I am going to unwrap it and let you see it. So it has been marinating and it smells really, really delicious. Now what I'm going to do, I preheated my oven to 400, and we're gonna cook this for about 1 hour and 15 minutes. And then we'll just check on it about halfway through so I can flip it over. But you want to cook it uncovered, because if you cover it, it's going to start to make its own juices, and we want to get kind of a barbecue feel versus, you know, a baked chicken feel. So just cook it uncovered on 400 for about 1 hour and 15 minutes, and I'll check on it at about the 35-40 minute mark and flip it over. All right, y'all, so here is the final product of the jerk chicken. It was in the oven for an hour and 20 minutes, like I told you, at 400 degrees. Everything looks absolutely phenomenal. I am going to take a piece of this right here, and we're going to give this chicken leg a taste. This is absolutely phenomenal. The Walkerswood mild seasoning has a really good flavor to it. You get that jerk flavor with a little bit of heat and not too much kickback. So I would definitely recommend you using that Walkerswood seasoning. And I got mine at Publix on the international aisle, and I'll show you. While it was getting ready to go in the oven, I decided to sprinkle on just a little bit of this as well. Let's see if it's going to focus. Yeah, it's the Badia Jerk Seasoning. And so I sprinkled just a little bit of this on it as well. as kind of a compliment. So you don't have to do this if you don't want, but I had purchased this as well before I found what I was really looking for, which was the Walkerswood seasoning. So I'm not going to talk you to death. As always, thank y'all so much for being a part of my channel. Don't forget, share this video if you get a chance. Tell one of your friends about Kitchen Notes from Nancy and all of the goodness that we're preparing here. We're on the road to 5,000. So let's get there, guys. And thank y'all so much for your support. As always, bye, neighbors.